How is it going, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. For those of you that are new here, my name is Ethan Bridge and I'm host of the Social Media Marketing School podcast and the guy behind the Instagram page at The Marketing Ethan. Now, when it comes to social media and blogs and podcasts and all of these different mediums of content, I consume a lot of them. And there's one piece of advice that comes up time and time again, and it really gets on my nerves, to be honest, because in my opinion, it's one of the most open-ended pieces of advice that you'll hear. And that advice is, to succeed, you just have to provide value. Just provide value. What on earth does that even mean? Just provide value. What is value? It's one of the most cliche pieces of advice that any guru or expert will say. Have I mentioned it in the past? Yes, but I've always tried to give context on what the value you should be providing actually is. And that's what I feel a lot of this advice from many creators lacks. The clarity behind what the value they need to provide actually is. And that's why in today's podcast episode, I wanted to talk a little bit about the definition of value. What actually providing value means, because that's what we need to do at the end of the day. Yes, we need to provide value. That is a good piece of advice when you understand what the definition of value actually is. And that's what I'm going to talk about today. So without any further ado, let's just dive straight into it. So the definition of value. This is going to be different for every single person. And that's why, as a content creator, you need to establish what the definition of value is for your audience, because it will be different to the next person's. Me, for example, I create content on social media marketing. I'm an educational page. I'm an educational content creator. And therefore, it's likely that the definition of value for my target audience is solving a problem. I create content that helps people solve a problem they currently have. If I can successfully do that, I am providing that person with value that they can take away and implement into their own strategies. Now, if you are a personal trainer, the definition of value to your audience is teaching someone exercises, teaching someone how to lose weight, teaching someone how to improve their fitness lifestyle. That's the definition of value to your audience, completely different to mine. If you are a motivational speaker, the definition of value to your audience is being able to provide them with motivation, with inspiration. Again, different to me, different to the personal trainer. So when someone is telling you to just provide value, you really need to think about and understand what value actually means to your audience. So let's just go into a little bit more detail on my niche, because I can speak from experience here. When I create content, the definition of value from my audience's perspective drives the content I create. Because it doesn't matter what my definition of value is. I'm not creating content for myself. I'm creating content for my audience. And therefore, their definition is what I need to pay close attention to and follow. So social media marketing. What do they want to learn? They obviously want to learn how to improve their social media marketing strategy. They want to learn how to create better content. They want to learn how to build an audience. My content, therefore, needs to do that. For example, this podcast episode, I am solving a problem. I am teaching you how to understand what value means to your audience, rather than just taking this cliche piece of advice and producing a piece of content on anything and everything because you think it provides value. I'm telling you to look below the surface level of this definition and understand what is going to take your audience to that next level, because being able to take your audience to the next level is providing them with value because it's helping them get better. So that is what today's podcast episode is about. But for example, a piece of content I created a couple of weeks ago. Do you struggle with time management and being able to engage for long periods? Don't worry. I've got an engagement strategy for you that is only going to take up an hour a day. So that piece of content there was valuable for those who had busy schedules, who didn't have enough time to engage on Instagram for 3 hours a day like most people tell you to. I cut that problem down into a bite-sized, manageable engagement strategy that only took an hour. And that really helped a lot of people in that category who didn't have much time. Therefore, I provided value to those individuals. And it also helps drive the headlines I produce. It makes me think about the content I'm creating in a fact that, okay, how can this directly help someone? I solve problems. So headlines along the fact of how to, how I, tips to, the tools I use to, all of these different headlines really help associate with the definition of value my audience has, because I'm teaching them a marketing strategy. I'm teaching them how to do something. I'm teaching them how to overcome something, which is my goal with the content I produce. It's not surface level. I'm trying to level up these people and trying to improve their marketing techniques and trying to improve their growth strategies and trying to improve the way that they can leverage their audience that they do build to grow a business. And to do that, my content needs to be structured in a way that it is going to take people from point A to point B. The content is that bridge. So understanding the definition of value drives the headlines and sort of comes up with this overarching content bank that I can pull pieces of content from, because those headlines that I commonly use over and over again help me structure my content in that way. But if I didn't understand what value meant to my audience, I wouldn't have any chance and my content strategy would just fall flat. So actually understanding what your audience sees valuable drives pretty much your whole content strategy. So yes, this piece of advice of just provide value is remarkably important when you actually give it context, when you go below the surface level, because people will take that quite literally and just provide value in any sense. And that tends to be what they find valuable, but you aren't creating content for yourself. You're creating it for your audience. So what your audience sees as value, their definition of value, is what you need to establish, what you need to find out. Because when you do, it's going to drive your whole content strategy, give you a ton of ideas, and really propel your content strategy in the right direction. So whenever you see or hear someone say that advice, just provide value, give it some context, go deeper and think, right, I am providing value, but is it directly related to my audience's definition of value? Because when it is, that is when your content strategy is correct. That is when you are heading in the right direction. So I apologize for the ranty episode today. I did go on a bit, but it was just a piece of advice that I hear a lot of people say. And yes, it does help. You do just need to provide value with your content, but it's one of those things where I feel as if people are lazy with the fact that, yes, that is just something everyone says. So I feel as if they should say it as well. But what on earth is value? And that's what you need to find out. What is value to your audience? Take that piece of advice whenever you hear it with a pinch of salt and really look below the surface and see how it can truly impact you by understanding the definition of value. And that wraps up today's video. If you did enjoy, I would really appreciate if you hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, and turned on post notifications. That way you will never miss a video when I post one. But I did just want to mention that this is a part of my podcast series, Social Media Marketing School, and the audio version of the podcast is the place to be because I post this content a lot sooner over there than I do here on YouTube. So I will leave some links in the description below. Make sure you head down there and subscribe. But if you've got any questions with regards to anything that I've mentioned, please just reach out to me on Instagram at @themarketingethan. Send me a DM and I'll make sure I get back to you no matter what. But I did just want to finish off by saying if you have made it to this point in the video, thank you for tuning in and I will see you in the next one.